This is Fake SportsCenter. I'm Matthew Merlino, and I'll be telling you what this is, kicking off our first sport of many, which is college football, and that's coming up right now. Hello again, everybody. I'm Matthew Merlino. Welcome to Fake SportsCenter. This is something that could go on for a long time or could stop right after this episode, depending on what life has for me in store. Excuse me, it's been a long day. We're going to have a lot of sports, pretty much simulating the entire sports world, but you have to start somewhere, and that is going to be with the sport that is starting this Saturday, a sport that is very near and dear to my heart, that being college football. And with each of the sports that we're going to do in this whole sports world simulation, there's going to be a certain air of creativity and customization, which, as you will see in college football, is with custom conferences. Now, of course, we're going to be using the new College Football 25 video game, which does give some limitations that were not in there in NCAA 14, but also gives a lot more freedom in some other areas than NCAA 14, and it's also easier for me to film, and I think easier for you to understand why I would be using that compared to NCAA 14. So without a further ado, let's get into our preseason preview, and it starts by giving you my custom conferences that'll be in this Dynasty mode that could go on for a long while. That's the hope. So here are the custom conferences for this College Football 25 Dynasty and the beginning of our Sports World simulation. I'm going to be using that a lot in this series. If you are a watcher, listener, or follower of the Late Kick Live podcast with Josh Pate, you may recognize these. I'm an avid listener of Mr. Pate. And I enjoyed the custom conferences that he came up with for the Power, well, now Power 4, but you'll see how many Power conferences that we'll have in this simulation. So it begins here with the ACC, your traditional 10-team ACC. You've got Clemson in here, of course, Duke, NC State, UNC, and Wake Forest. All the Tobacco Road schools are here. Florida State and Miami. Can you really have the ACC without Miami and Florida State? Maybe not Florida State, but the Big East says, yes, we can without Miami. You got Georgia Tech in here, and of course the two Virginia schools, Virginia and Virginia Tech. So a good 10-team ACC to get things started off. And you'll see in just a few moments when I'm done with all these conferences why I have the ACC at just 10 teams. Another 10-team conference, and it is called the Big Ten. Remember when the Big Ten used to have 10 teams? I wasn't even born. That's very, very interesting for those of you, I guess, old heads. Sorry for calling you that if you are watching. But it is the original Big Ten minus Northwestern and adding in Penn State. So you got Illinois in here, you have Indiana and Purdue, Iowa's here, the two Michigan schools are here, Minnesota and Ohio State, as I said, Penn State, and we have Wisconsin rounding out a pretty much traditional Big Ten. Then you have the Big 8 Conference. Now, of course, in College Football 25, there's no editing conferences, but when you see the Big 12 in the game, you must infer that it is the Big 8 because largely the original Big 8, which this is mostly made up with, is made out of the Big 12. So here is the Big 8, and it is all of the original Big 8 with Colorado, Iowa State, the two Kansas schools, Missouri, Nebraska, and Oklahoma State, but you'll notice that Oklahoma, the Sooners, are not in here. They are somewhere else where I'll tell you in just a moment. They are replaced by the Utah Utes, who will play in the Big 12 this coming year in real college football. So now we'll go over to another conference that's being risen from the dead in my mind, that being the Big East Conference, which the original Big East, half of it became the American Conference, so that's what this conference will be represented by in the video game. And it is pretty much the original Big East with a few southern additions, I guess. You have Boston College, Cincinnati, Louisville, Maryland, Pittsburgh, Rutgers, Syracuse, Central and Southern Florida, South Florida, excuse me, and then West Virginia. Pretty much a Northeast super conference with a few northern of the South and some Florida additions. And now I guess the biggest shift from college football in 2024 to my college football in 2024, or more accurately, Josh Pate's college football, but we'll call it mine. The Southwest Conference is coming back, and this will be represented by Conference USA in the video game that we'll have here. And this is all of the original 9 Southwest Conference members, plus 1, and I'm sure you see it right now, but it's Arkansas, Baylor, Houston. The addition is the Oklahoma Sooners, Rice, SMU, TCU, Texas, Texas A&M, and Texas Tech. You have the Red River rivalry as a conference game, as well as pretty much all of the original Texas schools, and we've got Arkansas in here, an original, or at least close to original Southwest Conference member. Final 2 Power 7, yes, 7 power conferences here. The first of those 2 being the Pac-10. No more Pac-12, it is the Pac-10, as it was for a long while. 2 Arizona schools, California and Stanford, 2 Oregon schools, 2 LA schools, UCLA and USC, and then the 2 Washington schools, Washington and Wazoo. Final Power 7 conference, and it is the power conference of power conferences, although probably not as much as it will be in real life in this world. We have the SEC, all of the original SEC, the original 10 when Tulane and Georgia Tech left, minus Vanderbilt, adding South Carolina. So we have Alabama and Auburn, Florida and Georgia, Kentucky and LSU, Mississippi State and Ole Miss, and then South Carolina and Tennessee. So what happened to Northwestern and Vanderbilt and some of the other schools that you have not seen? Well, group of 3 now, the mid-major conferences, but we do have 10 independents, and these are the service academies, Air Force, Army, and Navy, BYU and Notre Dame, who have strong histories as independents, and Notre Dame is still an independent, so I put them in here. Hawaii is here because they are so far away, so I just pretty much kind of screwed them. Apologies to any of the Rainbow Warrior fans, but in reality it makes sense. You're going to be scheduling a lot of Mountain West teams anyway. We have UConn and UMass, who are independents in real life, so kept them here to make things easier for myself. And then we have Northwestern and Vanderbilt, the 2, I guess, cutoffs from the Big Ten and the SEC. And honestly, to be real with you guys, it's probably going to happen soon in real life as those conferences get bigger and bigger. They got to chop something off on the bottom. Too bad, but that's what's going to happen. So then we have the 3 remaining mid-major conferences, with the American and Conference USA being used by the Power 7 editions, the Big East and the Southwest Conference. That leaves us with the MAC, first of all, which is the Midwest and Northeast. I pretty much just took the entire remaining map, split them into 3 regions, Northeast, Midwest, together, and that's how you get this 16-team iteration of the MAC. Pretty much all the original guys, all the current guys. We got Akron, Ball State, Bowling Green, Buffalo, Central and Eastern Michigan, Kent State here, Marshall is here. They were in the MAC, even though they're in West Virginia. Miami of Ohio, Northern Illinois, Ohio, Temple, who is also in the MAC for a long while, and I think still are, but I'm not sure. Actually, they may be in the American. I know more power football as with a lot of people than I do the group of five. Toledo, Tulsa is the big outlier, Western Kentucky, and Western Michigan. Tulsa didn't really fit anywhere else, so I've got them in here. Then we go over to the West Coast. These are the 20 westernmost teams pretty much on the map. They all make up the Mountain West Conference, these being Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, all of the Louisiana and Texas, remaining Louisiana and Texas schools are here. So we got Louisiana Lafayette, Louisiana Tech, Nevada, the two New Mexico schools, North Texas, Sam Houston out of Texas, San Diego and San Jose State, Texas State, Tulane, ULM, UNLV, Utah State, UTEP, UTSA, and Wyoming. And that leaves 20 more teams, largely in SEC country in the South. So that is what makes up the Sun Belt Conference, that being App State, Arkansas State, Charlotte, Coastal Carolina, East Carolina, Florida Atlantic, Florida International, Georgia Southern, Georgia State, Jacksonville State, James Madison, Kennesaw State, the newest addition, Liberty's here, Memphis, Mid-Ten State, Old Dominion, South Alabama, Southern Miss, Troy, and UAB. So those are your 10 conferences of largely all 10 teams. The mid-majors are larger than that, and one of the Big Eight, of course, just 8 teams, and we have 10 independent schools. The reason why all the Power 7 conferences are 10 or less, they will all have 9 conference games, so everybody's going to play everybody else. The Big Eight, of course, will only have 7 conference games because there's only 7 teams to play in conference. The mid-majors, I'm contemplating putting them at 12 conference games, but I decided there's a lot of mid-major to power conference rivalries. Don't want to screw those up. They all play 8 conference games in real life. I just kept it at that. And then the postseason, no real changes here. Top 2 in each conference will play in a conference championship game. It'll be neutral site and in the region where the conference is based. Some of them will rotate year on year. Many of the power conferences will not. And then the playoff stays exactly the same, a 12-team playoff with 5 auto bids. Unfortunately, no mid-major in the playoff, but it will be interesting to see, is one of those power conference champions going to be left out because that conference kind of destroyed itself, or that conference is just not that good. Some storylines to keep up with as we go through the season. So now on to our preseason preview, and it all begins with the preseason AP Top 25, which if you load up any CFB 25 Dynasty will be the top 25 that you get at the start of the year. Georgia number 1, Ohio State number 2, and Texas 3rd. Oregon, Ole Miss, Bama, Penn State, Notre Dame, Michigan, and Missouri rounding out the top 10. Some teams, in my opinion, who are overrated in that top 10. 11 through 20, a bit more balanced. Florida State, Utah, LSU, Oklahoma, Tennessee, the top 15. Arizona, Clemson, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, and Louisville rounding out the top 20. And the final 5, Kansas, NC State, Miami, Texas A&M, and USC, with Washington, Auburn, Iowa, and Wisconsin just missing out on making the actual poll. And in terms of some player spotlights, let's take a look at the All-American teams. Carson Beck, the first-choice quarterback of voters, the redshirt senior out of Georgia, looking to make some noise after a shocking loss to Alabama in the SEC championship last year that kept them out of the playoff. The running back tandem of Quinshon Judkins and Ollie Gordon II, both terrorizing the Big 8 and Big 10 this year. And Judkins' teammate Emeka Egbuka is the wide receiver 1 of this first team. Travis Hunter, wide receiver 2, the junior out of Colorado. And the Missouri wide receiver Luther Burden III rounds out that wide receiver core. Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan, is the tight end pick on the All-American first team for the preseason. And one of the men to note on the offensive line, right guard, redshirt senior out of Georgia, Tate Ratledge. You see him at the bottom of the screen. Watch him this year make a lot of blocks. On to the defense now, and it is highlighted by a linebacker core featuring Michael Williams, the junior out of Georgia, as well as some of the terrorizing offensive linemen, including Jack Sawyer, James Pierce Jr., Mason Graham, and Kenneth Grant. And continuing with that linebacker core, Jay Higgins and Barrett Carter from Iowa and Clemson, two seniors, although one is redshirted, making up that linebacking core. In the secondary, nothing to be scoffed at either. Will Johnson, Benjamin Morrison, Caleb Downs, and Kevin Winston Jr. round out that secondary. It's an very good All-American first team, highlighted by some Big Ten and Midwest football. We got Notre Dame in there as well, so we shall see how that Big Ten conference performs on the offensive side of the ball, because defense seems to be locked down. And your special teams, Graham Nicholson, the senior from Alabama, and Tommy Doman, the punter, senior from Michigan. And we'll take a look at the second team as well. Dylan Gabriel, the redshirt senior out of Oregon, second choice for many voters this year. Halfback tandem, Ohio State's Travion Henderson. That's going to be a very, very good halfback tandem over in Ohio State, with one on the first team and one on the second team. Amarian Hampton, the junior from North Carolina, has a lot ahead of him. We'll see how he performs in the ACC this year. Tetairoa McMillan, and hopefully that's pronounced right, I think I'll be learning that name throughout this season, is wide receiver 1 on the second team. He's out of Arizona. It's an all Pac-10 wide receiver core with Tez Johnson and another Oregon receiver, Evan Stewart, the junior, making up that 3 wide receiver core, all Pac-10 teams, 2 of them coming from the Oregon Ducks. Notre Dame's tight end Mitchell Evans rounds out that receiving core, and Jonah Monheim out of USC, one of the men to highlight on the offensive line, redshirt senior center. The defense, nothing to scoff at. Landon Jackson, Abdul Carter, Tyleek Williams, and Walter Noen, 2 Big Ten players in there. The right end out of Penn State and the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Very interesting to see how that offensive line will perform. Harold Perkins Jr., the left linebacker out of LSU. He's just a junior. And then 2 seniors, Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma and Nick Jackson out of Iowa, will make up that linebacker core. Then it's Denzel Burke, Jabbar Muhammad, Malachi Starks of Georgia, and Billy Bowman Jr. in the secondary for this preseason All-American second team. And then the special teams here, Bert Auburn, the senior kicker from Texas, and the junior redshirt punter from Oregon, Ross James. That's your preview. Now let's take a look at some of the games that you'll be seeing this episode and this week. This is week 0 of the season. Later, it'll be TCU, one of the better offenses last year, number 11 in total offense according to the NCAA, against the 12th ranked Utah Utes at the home of Utah. They had the 13th ranked defense last year. So it'll be very interesting to see that matchup, and very interesting to see the quarterback matchup between Hoover and Rising. The game of the week, as you see with the gold up top, Louisville, number 20, traveling to Death Valley to take on number 17, Clemson, both with top 25 defenses last year. We'll see if any of them have regressed or improved. Clemson had the 8th ranked defense in college football last year. They have the 17th ranked team with no games played already. But up next, it is Georgia Tech taking on Florida State, ranked number 11 in the country, in a neutral site game. The Yellow Jackets have the 34th ranked offense last year. Florida State just missed the playoff after a big injury to Jordan Travis that kept them out. How can they avenge their defeat last year and rebound and win the ACC again this year? We'll find out how it begins right now.
The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the equivalent of the Week 1 Dublin game, or the Week 0 Dublin game. Florida State and Georgia Tech neutral site to kick off the college football season and to kick off, I guess, fake SportsCenter, as you could call this. I'll be taking you along with all of these games, all of our premier matchups each week, and filling you in on all the ones that you unfortunately won't be able to see. This is an ACC matchup pitting the Florida State Seminoles against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. So here we are with 5-minute quarters, of course, 4 of them. This is college football. This is football, and it's going to be Georgia Tech starting with a huge return all the way back. It's a touchdown for the Yellow Jackets on the opening play of the season. How about that from Avery Boyd, the senior wide receiver for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets against the reigning ACC champions? They run back the opening kickoff, what looked to be 99 yards, and they quickly make it a 7-0 game. How is Florida State and DJ Uiagalelei going to respond? Well, they will kneel the opening kickoff for a touchback. And here are your impact players for today. Ramillo Height, one of them, the left end for Georgia Tech, but you won't see him just yet. The Florida State defense is what many are looking for. The offense will begin with a run, and that one's stopped by Armani Habib. A second run on 2nd and 8 for Roydell Williams. He cannot gain more than 1 yard on that one, and so it'll be 3rd and 7 from the 28. Uiagalelei going to throw. It is intercepted for Georgia Tech, and they are going to get possession once again, this time at the Florida State 35. A disastrous start for the Florida State Seminoles. Can you believe this? It was the middle linebacker Kyle Efford. He's only a sophomore, and he has his first interception of the season on his first chance, first pass as a Seminole for DJ Uiagalelei. Goes for a pick. Can you believe that? And already a 6-yard gain for the Yellow Jackets on first down. 2nd and 4, Georgia Tech. They run it this time. Only a 1-yard gain for the Yellow Jackets, who look quickly to be on the way to an upset of the 11th ranked Florida State Seminoles. Going to throw on 3rd and 3. They have it. 1st and goal, and Haynes King has his first completion of the day, and it's for 28 yards. 1st and goal from the 6 for Georgia Tech. They're going to run it, and that is a huge stuff from one of the Florida State stars. 2nd and goal from the 9. Kevin Knowles with the stuff, and a sack now for Florida State to make it 3rd and goal. Marvin Jones Jr. on the sack, the defensive lineman. 3rd and goal from the 12. Quickly, the pocket collapses. A complete pass for Georgia Tech, but it'll only get them to the 8. That means they're going to send out the field goal unit. But already, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, 2 minutes have been played, and they already have a 10-0 lead on the Florida State Seminoles. correspondence in the crowd. You can see the fans of the gold and red are not enjoying this season so far. And that kick ran back to the 20 for Florida State. Let's see, DJ Uiagalelei, he has one interception on one throw and now one sack. That one coming from Sylvanian Yanjuan. A 5-yard loss for FSU. Yanjuan, the right end, the junior, with his first sack. And that will be 0 for 2 with an interception and a sack on throw attempts for Uiagalelei in Florida State so far. Going to run it on 2nd and 15. It'll be a nice 5-yard gain from Williams, who has 10 yards off of 3 rushes so far today. But now 3rd and 8, they will go back to the air with Uiagalelei from their own 22. Steps up, fires to his left, and thrown away. It'll be 4th and 8. A disastrous, again we say it, a disastrous start for the Florida State Seminoles. That punt received at the 28 for Georgia Tech, ran back to about midfield, and once again they'll start a drive in Florida State territory. 2 minutes left in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for Georgia Tech from the FSU 49, and they're going to gain 2 on the run. King going to hand it off once again. A nice power run. That'll gain a lot, and Jamal Hayes has almost 20 yards off of that run alone. Here's Haynes again. Cuts outside and gains 8. 2nd and 2 from the FSU 20. Big throw. It'll be a first down for Georgia Tech. Christian Leary with 2 receptions so far for the Yellow Jackets. And now it'll be 1st and 10 from the FSU 14. Here's another throw. Intercepted! Florida State gets a turnover, and now will have possession at their own 3. Well, what was a very poor start may now be turned around by that pick. Fentrell Cypress II, the corner, with the interception. A nice move there to get in front of the ball, but now his offense is back at their own 3. And we'll see what FSU does with this. They're going to run it. And they have a nice hole. Williams powers forward for a 9-yard gain and gives them some much-needed breathing room. Minute to go in the first quarter. Williams gets the first down on the ground. So 1st and 10 from their own 16. FSU trying to put a drive together. 3 wideouts. And it'll be a keeper for Uiagalelei on the option that goes nowhere. 2nd and 10 with 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. They're at their own 15, and this one a designed run for Williams, which gains about 4. So 3rd and 6 for Florida State, and they are going to run it. And it'll be a 1-yard loss, which will result in another punt for Florida State. As we come to the end of the first quarter, it'll be 10-0 in favor of the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. They will have just about one last play from their own 45 after that short punt return. And it'll be a designed run, which gains a single yard to bring us to the end of the first quarter. A 10-0 Georgia Tech lead off of a opening kickoff return and a field goal after an interception on DJ Uiagalelei. 0, count them, 0 passing yards for Florida State in the first quarter. Here's Tech from their own 46. They switch sides after each quarter in college, and it'll be a nice run for Georgia Tech to start the drive off, I guess. 3rd and 6 now from the 49. A war chant blasting. That'll help Florida State get a defensive stop, and now the Yellow Jackets will be forced to punt it away. A skied one. It'll be received at about the 21 and tackled right there, so Florida State will get it back at their own 28. Uiagalelei with an empty backfield gets one out and finally has a completion. His first in a red uniform. 2nd and 2. Jet sweep, it'll get a first down. FSU with a big run down to the 20 and out of bounds. First and 10 from the 20 for FSU. Here's the throw from Uiagalelei. Gets it out. Touchdown! Florida State gets on the board with a very quick and very precise drive to hopefully shift the momentum in their favor. And they got it to Malik Benson, one of the senior wide receivers that should be one to watch over the Seminole season. Here is the PAT with a chance to make it a 3-point game. They do. And with just about a minute played in the second quarter, Florida State kicks it away for a touchback. Georgia Tech trying to maintain their 2-possession lead that has now gone away after, again, a quick and methodical drive for the Florida State Seminoles. A quick pass, looked like an RPO, and a gain 3 for the Yellow Jackets, now at their own 28. Many men go in motion. No jet sweep, instead a designed run. And a gain of 5 for Georgia Tech. 3rd and 2 from the 33. And they're going to run it again. First down, Tech. They cannot get free, and Jamal Haynes, over 10 rushes, is about to gain 50 yards on the day with just about 8 minutes played. But he won't get it there. Intercepted, and maybe a chance to be run back. Big speed, and Florida State with a Zary Thomas has a lead off of a 40-yard pick six. Two interceptions for Florida State have set up drives, and in this case have directly given them the lead in this game, and what a beautiful interception. Perhaps the shades of Deion Sanders he may be wearing as he wears this Florida State uniform. Look at this, and look at the speed that he has on the run back. Only 40 yards, but he covered them like he was running the dash at the combine. It is 13-10. The kicker here for FSU has a chance to make it 14. And he does. So we had a Georgia Tech lead for about 8 minutes in this game. That has gone away in less than 2. It was 10-0 at the start of the quarter. These are 5-minute quarters, and with 3 minutes to go, it is now 14-10 in favor of Florida State. How can Georgia Tech recover from this huge momentum swing? They give it to Jamal Haynes, and he gains 7 to break 50 yards on the day, the Georgia Tech running back. And now a tough catch for Tech. They're going to get a first down. 1st and 10 from their own 28 here. And And here's Haynes King getting it out. It is caught. He stays up through heavy traffic. Shaheem Brown finally gets him down, and now they're going to hurry it up with 2.5 minutes to go. They got into Florida State territory trying to catch the Seminole defense off guard with an RPO. That goes nowhere. In fact, it loses a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11 with just about 2 minutes left in the first half. They're going to run it. And it'll be a big gain, almost 9 yards, and 3rd and 2 coming up. 2-minute warning reached here. We'll see if any play call was changed. There was a man in motion. Gonna throw. King fires, caught. First down, Georgia Tech. And that'll get him in to the Florida State 32. 1st and 10 for Georgia Tech, and King will throw again. Gonna roll out to his left. He's gonna run with it. Gets past the first down marker, although they say he was down before. 2nd and inches coming up. Men in motion, they fake the jet sweep. King fires, incomplete. He could not hang on to the ball. 3rd down and inches, and a field goal possible there at the Florida State 22. Here's King over the middle, caught. 1st and goal coming up, excuse that noise. With under a minute to go, 1st and goal from the Florida State 2 for Georgia Tech. And they're going to run it. No gain, and a timeout for the Yellow Jackets. .48 seconds. 2nd and goal from the 2 for Georgia Tech. Another run. That one stopped right at the goal line. No touchdown. Georgia Tech stuffed again, and 3rd and goal here with 44 seconds to go. A pitch this time, out right. It still can't get a touchdown, and now we are probably going to see a field goal unit. No, they're going to go for it. It is 4th and goal from the 1 and about a quarter yard line, and it'll be another run. This one gets in the end zone to give Georgia Tech back the lead, and possibly a 3-point lead if they make the extra point. Jamal Haynes, the junior halfback who has been working very hard over the offseason, and we've seen the results of his work so far through this game, has his first touchdown of the season. And with that 13-play drive, Georgia Tech has a 3-point lead once again. 38 seconds for Florida State to try and tie. Kickoff ran back to their own 21. The momentum has shifted in their favor after a disastrous opening. They're going to run on 1st down, and they're going to be stuffed for a loss of 2. Galele going to throw, fires, that one caught for a gain of 6. Destin Hill gets it, and now we're going to go to halftime. So that is the end of the first half, 17-14, and the player of the half, no doubt, Jamal Haynes, 61 yards off of just 13 attempts. The junior does have his first touchdown of the year, and that gave them the 17-14 lead. Georgia Tech in front, you saw it right there. There was the big interception to give Florida State a 14-10 lead after they were down 10-0 early on. A nice pass there from Galele gave them their first points of the game, that being Florida State, and they're going to get the ball back right here after kicking it at the start of the game. And a run back to the 16-yard line. Here's the run. Oh, big broken tackle. Williams with a huge run all the way to the 47. First and 10, Florida State. Galele runs it with Williams again, and this one gains 4. Another run with Williams. That one will lose a few. So here's Galele on 3rd and 9, going deep. Has a man. Touchdown, Florida State. Malik Benson, his second touchdown reception of the game, comes on this beauty from DJ Galele right into the breadbasket. And all Benson has to do is use his speed to get into the end zone. 20-17 and a chance to make it 21, which they take very easily. 4 plays and 84 yards on that drive for Florida State. And again, their speed in gaining back the lead. There's still 4 minutes left in the 3rd quarter. There's the run, a big run from Haynes for Georgia Tech. Another run for Haynes. He's going to get another first down. Jamal Haynes, 84 yards today. Jet sweep, no, a fake, and they go back to Haynes. He was stopped, but he still gained 5 yards on that one. Here's King, gonna throw, caught, inbounds, and then out. Big catch for Georgia Tech. First and 10 from the FSU 28. More motion. King fakes the shovel. Almost intercepted. Here's 2nd and 10 from inside the FSU 30. Major motion on both sides. They go to Haynes. And Haynes powers forward for 8. 3rd and 2 from the 20. Here goes King. Fires, caught over the middle. First down again for Florida State, for Georgia Tech. 1st and 10 from the FSU 16. Here comes King. Another over the middle catch for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7 from the 13. A run with Haynes. Stopped, but he still powers for 2. He got hit behind the line of scrimmage and still gained 2 yards going the other way. How about that for some work? King in some trouble. Evades the sack. Now runs forward. Can he get the first? Looked like he lost the ball. Did not get the first down. 4th and 1, and here's the field goal unit for Georgia Tech to try and make it a 1-point game. They do. Two minutes left in the 3rd quarter. Georgia Tech is down by 1 after a field goal drive. And this kickoff ran back to the FSU 23. Man in motion. They do not go to him. They instead go to Williams. He gains 7 on first down. And it'll be 2nd and 3 from the 30. Galele got it out. No first. It'll be 3rd and 1. They've got Williams in the backfield. They may go to him. He's the power back. 3rd down and 1. Williams, misdirection. 1st down, Florida State. Galele caught. Gain of 5 for Florida State. Another throw from Galele. Another catch for the Seminoles from Courtney, the tight end. And now 1st and 10 from midfield. Ooh, almost intercepted, instead knocked down. Georgia Tech with some slick defense, and now 2nd and 10. Here's Galele with some trouble. Almost intercepted. It was deflected by the big pass rusher. 3rd and 10 from midfield for FSU. Galele has some blocking, has some time, has a catch at the 24. 1st and 10 in the red zone. Florida State looking to cement their lead over conference rival Georgia Tech. And this is just the start of what's going to be an incredible college football season. And this drive ends with a Florida State touchdown and another touchdown reception from Malik Benson. The senior wide receiver has 3 touchdowns today. Look at the movement to get away from the Georgia Tech defender, and now an 8-point game within reach. So just barely within reach for Georgia Tech. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion ties it for the Yellow Jackets, who were once up 10-0 in this game, now down 28-20. And the kick ran back to the 16. Haynes King and the rest of the Georgia Tech offense looking to reclaim what was theirs. They will begin with a nice throw to get them all the way to the 47. Quickly hurrying things up. 18, now 15 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. There's a Florida State man offside. He gets set, and now we're back underway. A nice run from Jamal Haynes to get him over the 100-yard mark on the day. He has 105 for 19 touches. That'll end the 3rd quarter. This has been an exciting game, and don't miss the conclusion. 5 minutes remain. 28-20 in favor of Florida. And look at how the Seminoles have come back. They had 0 passing yards at the end of the 1st quarter. At the end of the 3rd, they have 194. 2nd and 4 at the FSU 47, and Haynes King has the keeper on the option and gains 10 yards. 1st and 10 Georgia Tech from the FSU 37. And now they're going to go to Haynes, the running back. He gets a first, and he gets into the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 16 for Georgia Tech, and they keep hurrying. They're trying to tire out the FSU defense. They're trying to get the FSU offense back on the field as early as possible. That catch will go for a 7-yard gain, and it'll be 2nd down and 3 from the 9. Here's another run. Haynes breaks a tackle. 1st and goal from the 4 for Georgia Tech. Oh, a direct snap. 2nd and goal after about a 1-yard gain off of the Wildcat play. Nobody saw that coming, but the FSU defense was prepared nonetheless. They were not prepared for the blocking on that play, and Georgia Tech has a chance to tie if they go for 2. Cooley on the run there, not Haynes. They've decided to rest him. Trey Cooley, the senior running back, he gets in with a huge hole carved out for him from his O-lineman. And now the 2-point conversion to try and tie this game. Georgia Tech with 3 minutes 54 to go. They do not get it. 28-26, but they can still try and stop the FSU offense. And this kick ran back to about the 18-yard line. Just about 4 minutes to go in this game, and FSU with a 2-point lead. A nice long running drive with plays like that one will seal this game for them. 2nd and 1, the audible from Uiagalelei. Goes back into a run, a nice power run, and that will get a first down for Florida State. Georgia Tech not in a rush to burn their timeouts. That run from Lawrence Toafili, gaining 2 and getting FSU down within 3 minutes to go. It'll be 2nd and 8 from their own 37, and Toafili with a huge loss. 3rd and 13 on the run to the right. Coming down to the 2-minute warning, they'll get a playoff before then. Here's the throw. Uiagalelei, big 3rd down, big catch for Florida State. And as we reach the 2-minute warning, FSU could need just 1 or 2 first downs to seal this game. It's not over just yet. But there is the first time out from Georgia Tech. 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7. Another run. This one could be stopped. It will be for a loss of 1. Georgia Tech down to 1 timeout. Minute 50 left. They're right at midfield. 3rd and 8. FSU looking for a first down to seal it. Uiagalelei caught wide open. Malik Benson has 111 yards on 4 receptions. And now Florida State will kneel to take the first win of the 2024 college football season. There it is, and a big, big game, a shootout with high stakes in the ACC. Florida State, the 11th ranked team in the country, hangs on against conference rival Georgia Tech. Malik Benson, a deserved Player of the Game award, 111 yards, 4 receptions, 3 of which were touchdowns. It was that pick 6 that gave Florida State their first lead. Benson helped them keep it along with DJ Uiagalelei and the rest of the Seminoles. They come out of Ireland 1-0 in ACC play. So a fun one to begin the college football season over in Dublin. The ACC opener seeing number 11 Florida State just hang on against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. A 28-26 victory for the Seminole Nation. They took it off of 3 touchdown passes and 225 yards from their new transfer quarterback, DJ Uiagalelei. All 3 of those touchdown passes caught by receiver Malik Benson. We'll see what the Seminoles can do in another ACC game next week, taking on Virginia at the Cavaliers. Georgia Tech will look to rebound, but it'll be tough. They are at home, but taking on a big opponent in the Clemson Tigers. Some other early games in this Saturday of college football, the first Saturday of the season. Syracuse defeated Ohio out of the MAC, the Big East school winning 27-10 off of their running game. 2 touchdowns from Allen and Willis, 1 each. They'll look to carry that into their Big East opener at Maryland next weekend. USF defeated Charlotte in another Big East victory over a mid-major school, 24-17 the final score. Byram Brown getting the better of Charlotte's Max Brown, with Byram going 239 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 pick. They have their Big East and home opener next weekend against West Virginia, and we'll see how they do in that one. 2 schools out of the mid-major conferences, both will go back to conference play next weekend, but this weekend UAB out of the Sun Belt taking on ULM out of the Mountain West, and the Blazers got the win over the Warhawks 38-16 easily. Jacob Zeno of UAB, 5 touchdowns and just over 250 yards passing. Iowa State defeated Arkansas State handily, 31-13. The Big 8 opponents warming up against the Sun Belt team. ISU will take on Nebraska in another home game next weekend in their Big 8 opener, and we'll see how Becht plays after his 3 touchdown and 1 interception performance today. Our first overtime game of the season featuring Louisiana upsetting ACC opponent Wake Forest in Winston-Salem. Final score 49-47. Louisiana's Chandler Fields with 437 yards and 5 touchdowns. They're on the road again next week. And UMass takes down Miami, the independent team taking down the MAC school with Panam Makan, that is a mispronounced name if anything, doing it all. 3 touchdowns through the air with 257 yards and 1 on the ground with 39 yards rushing. They take on Eastern Michigan next week. Coming up next for you, our Game of the Week featuring the number 20 Louisville Cardinals taking on the number 17 Clemson Tigers in Death Valley. These two had top 25 defenses last season. How will they perform in the first game of this one? College football is back, and nothing can show that better than the run down to the field at Clemson Memorial Stadium. Today, 2 of the top defenses in college football last year squaring off at one of the toughest places to play. Those are the things that will be talked about as number 20 Louisville takes on number 17 Clemson in a big out-of-conference matchup pitting the Big East against the ACC. So our second of 3 games to show you in full today is our game of the week, and it will begin with a Louisville touchback, which will see their quarterback Colin Lacey, a senior, preparing to make his way onto the field in Death Valley with the Louisville offense, who looks to have just 1 star player, a wide receiver, and that pass complete. Avion Terrell of Clemson on the tackle, but unable to prevent the completion for a first down on the first play of the game. Second throw is also complete, and Show has once again a completion and 2 straight first downs to start off, and they're already in Clemson territory. 1st and 10 from the Tiger 49. His third pass is an incompletion, his first incompletion on the day. And that'll bring up the first run, which is very nice from Maurice Turner. Now it'll be 3rd down and 4 from the Clemson 43 for Louisville. Show will throw. It is caught, and it'll be a first down and about 10 yards more from Chris Bell, who has 30 yards on 2 receptions in just a single minute. And now it'll be Show again to throw. A catch, but nothing after it. A 6-yard gain to bring up 2nd and 4 inside the red zone. Here's Show again, fires to his left end zone and knocked down at the last second. 3rd down and 4 from the Clemson 22. Louisville looking to go ahead early, just 1 minute into this one. Show caught, 1st and goal from the 10. 60 yards already. First and goal. Show again. They pass a lot. That one caught, but it'll go nowhere. Second and goal from exactly where they began this set of downs. Show again to throw. Goes end zone now. Caught, but not in the end zone. The ball did not cross the plane. And now it'll be third and goal from the half-yard line. I formation. Bootleg. Incomplete. Play action will set up a field goal attempt after an incomplete pass on third and goal. And here is Louisville. They missed it. They missed a chip shot. Look at this replay. They are snapping the ball at the half-yard line, which amounts to about a 17-yard attempt, and the kicker hooked it wide to the left. So that will help the Clemson Tigers, and that will get the crowd roaring as their offense takes the field. First and 10, and they'll begin with a run. That's going to go nowhere. Loss of a yard, and maybe even two. Just a single yard loss for the Clemson Tigers on first down. So it is 2nd and 11 from their own 19, and Cade Klubnik uncorks one that could have been intercepted. Instead, it was knocked down ferociously by that Louisville defender. And now Klubnik on 3rd and 11 fires. That one intercepted at the Clemson 45, and a nice spin move will bring it down to the Clemson 34. And now Louisville, after a shanked field goal on a chip shot, will now have a second chance to go for the end zone. Quincy Riley, the senior cornerback, with the pick. An erroneous pass from Cade Klubnik on his second throw of the game. Shaw, with a nice and short pass out to the right, has a 3-yard gain. So it'll be 2nd and 7 from the Tiger 30. Here's Shaw again to throw, dropping back a lot more and throws it away to bring up 3rd and long. Here we are, 3rd and 7 for Shaw in Louisville. Has some pressure, has to throw it away, and now it looks like we're going to have another field goal try. This one from a bit further out, but it is good. 3-0, about 3 minutes into this game. And you can see it was just barely inside the upright. So 2 field goal attempts, one from about 47 yards out and one from about 17 yards out. One hook to the left. It was the one that you did not expect. And one, the longer one, that goes in to give the number 20 ranked Louisville Cardinals the lead in this game early. And now it'll be a second chance for Cade Klubnik and the Clemson offense to try and pull even or even take the lead, but the run game seemingly not going anywhere. 2 rushes for Clemson, 2 yards lost in the rushing game. And I believe that is their total offense so far, but that's been offset by that 4-yard gain. So now 3rd and 6 for Clemson. From their own 25, Klubnik takes a pass, pocket collapses, he is sacked. Lost the football but was down before, and now 4th and 15 from their own 16 will cause the Tigers to punt. And it was Stanquan Clark, the sophomore, on the sack, making his way through, a slim linebacker, but still able to get to the quarterback and force a long 4th down in their territory. This one received in between the 30 and 35-yard line. Returner gets it to about the 40. And now Louisville will have another offensive chance. Their defense seemingly the bigger one of the two. Misdirection, but that play will be a loss of 4. That Clemson defense not stunned at all on what looked to be a flea flicker trick play, and now they go with a more conventional route with a draw, and that will gain 4 to bring up still 3rd and 10 from their own 39. Shaw steps up. He's going to run. He's going to not have the first down. 4th and 1 from midfield. Louisville will punt within the final minute of the first quarter. And this one will bounce harmlessly into the end zone. Touchback. And now, again, the Clemson offense with a chance to make some noise. One of the top teams in the ACC, underperforming against a top 20 opponent. That will be a 6-yard reception off the throw from Cade Klubnik. Now 2nd and 4 for the Clemson Tigers in their own territory. They have not gotten it. I believe they have not gotten it past their own 30. They finally have on their 3rd possession of the game. Now 1st and 10 from their own 32. And this one, a keeper on the RPO. Klubnik gets it out right, and it'll be caught, but no gain. So 2nd and 10 now. And they'll run it this time. One man goes flying, and Phil Maffa has gotten Clemson a 3rd down and 1 scenario, but first we will go to the end of the first quarter in a defensive struggle so far. The Louisville Cardinals leading the Clemson Tigers, who have just 14 total yards of offense so far today. Let's see how they will perform in the second quarter. 4 5-minute quarters. Maffa on the run. He will gain a first down for the Tigers. 1st and 10 from their own 44. And off the motion, it'll be a pass out left for Maffa. That'll count as a rush because it was received behind the line of scrimmage. He did lose a yard. So now 2nd and 11. And the jet sweep coming, cutting inside and getting a first down and about 5 yards more. Clemson at the Louisville 39 with 1st and 10. And they'll hurry things up to save. We have 4 minutes until halftime, and the Tigers are down 3 at home. Oh, big catch, big pass from Cade Klubnik for a Clemson touchdown. What a throw and a big catch from that Clemson wide receiver. Number 6, Tyler Brown, the sophomore out of Greenville. And he gives Clemson, along with that beautiful throw, look at that, in between 2 defenders, got it to his man. Cade Klubnik avenges that first interception with a nice about 20-25 yard touchdown pass. And the Tigers take a 7-3 lead over the Louisville Cardinals with still 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. Let's see how Louisville will respond. Callaway on the return, got it to the Cardinal 23. That's where they'll begin this possession. Looking to get into the end zone for the first time today. Fake jet pass. Now throwing to his left. Show. Incomplete. 2nd and 10, and probably would have been a loss of 1 if he did catch it. They'll run it this time. Nice cut, but it'll only gain 3. So 3rd down and 7 inside their own territory at their own 27. Louisville on the throw. It is caught for a first down. And now 1st and 10, Louisville at their own 36. Shaw almost intercepted, but no, it is hauled in to bring up 2nd and 3. Here comes the throw on second down. This one caught and goes for a lot. Tyler Show, 111 yards in about 8 minutes played. 1st and 10 from the Clemson 35 for the Tigers. It'll be a run after no options open up downfield, and it will gain 4. 2nd and 6 for the Cardinals. Another flea flicker, but that one will lose 2 yards. 3rd and 9. It looked like they were running all around with no direction. So now 3rd and 9. Play action. Show in trouble. He is brought down for a huge loss, and that may even get them out of field goal range. So Clemson going to prevent even 3 points scored on the sack from DeMonte Capehart, the veteran defensive lineman, with his first sack of the season and his first sack today. Here is Louisville to punt. They will get it out at about midfield, and it will not even bounce in the field of play into the end zone, a touchback. 2:21 to go in the half. Clemson, with their first lead of the game, they held on to it with some good defense on the last possession, and they're going to gain 6 yards on their first play of this one with a run. 2nd and 4 from their own 26. And it'll be another run that loses some. A 2-yard loss to bring up 3rd down and 6. We'll head to the 2-minute warning. Still 7-3 in the favor of the home team in this one. Clemson ranked number 17 in the country. That pass incomplete on 3rd down, and it will force yet another punt. Received at the 25, ran back to about the 40. So again, Louisville will have it. We'll see if they can do something with the ball. Their only points so far have come on their second possession. And that pass incomplete from Tyler Show. 2nd and 10. Show back to throw. In one of the toughest places to play, has 2 straight incompletions. And now it'll be 3rd down, which gets this place rocking even more. Tyler Show for Louisville to throw. That one caught for a 1st down and getting into Clemson territory. 1st and 10 from the Tiger 47. Show to throw. Doesn't have much time. Got it out, but it was not held on to. Incomplete. These two, both favorites to win their respective conferences. Louisville out of the Big East. That one intercepted. Clemson with a pick in their own territory at about their own 20. Ran back to their own 35. The second interception, I believe, for the Tigers today. Both of these teams, as you have seen, have been predicated on their defensive skill. As you see, the interception from R.J. Mickens there, the senior safety from Clemson, to give them their possession at their own 35. Klubnik in trouble, ran backwards and lost 12 on the sack. 2nd and 22 coming up for the Clemson Tigers with 1:09 to go, and Trammell Logan has the 2nd sack for Louisville today and the 1st for himself today. With 40 seconds to go, 2nd down and 22 from the 23. And they'll run the clock all the way down. They'll run the ball for yet another loss. And Louisville's going to call a timeout because they should have possession out of this. With still 2 timeouts remaining, still trying to draw even or take the lead. Jet sweep. It will gain about 4, but not enough It will still be 4th and 22 for the Clemson Tigers, who will punt this away with about 30 seconds to go. And we'll see what Louisville can do from about their own 30 with 23 seconds and a singular timeout. Can they draw even before the half ends? Clemson receives possession at the beginning of the next half. And that pass incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Louisville. Show fires incomplete again, and an inaccurate pass over his man on the right. 3rd and 10 for Show in Louisville from their own 33. This one caught. 1st down inside Clemson territory, and they'll use their final timeout. They have 11 seconds to go 47 yards and take the lead. Show, nothing stupid, throws it away, and should have 1 or 2 more chances with 7 seconds left. They're out of field goal range. I don't think their kicker can make a 50 or 60 yarder. And again, that one incomplete. No options opened up. They are going for it. This is the kicker that shanked a 17-yarder wide left from the other side of the field. He is no good, and all the way wide to the right that time. Look at the replay. This one from probably 60 yards out, probably a bit more than that. Did not have the distance, did not have the accuracy, and we will go to halftime with a 7-3 Clemson lead, and it'll be interesting to see the player of the half in this very much defensive struggle. It is a defender, it is for Clemson, it is the sophomore Avion Terrell, who has 2 pass deflections and 2 tackles to his name. The sophomore doing very well. That is the only touchdown of this game through 10 minutes and through the first half. Cade Klubnik with the throw for a Clemson touchdown. And it would be Tyler Brown on the receiving end of that touchdown. This kickoff received for a touchback. And now 1st and 10 for Clemson from their own 25. And that run from Phil Maffa gaining about 3. 2nd down and 7 from their own 28. Maffa will get it again, finds a hole, gains a nice 4 yards. And now 3rd down and 3. Klubnik going to throw, fires deep, caught at the 50. A big catch from Tyler Brown again. The Clemson wide receiver showing to be the big offensive threat of the day. That screen pass going for 7 for Clemson to bring up 2nd down and 3. This one, a run, sheds one guy, throws him away, but ultimately it'll be a loss to bring up 3rd and 6 from Phil Maffa. Here's Klubnik to throw, trying to evade the sack, but he does go down, and the man who sacked him is injured for Louisville, but not before forcing a 4th and 17. So Clemson will have to punt on the first possession in the second half. It ends up as a touchback, and that will allow Louisville to start from their own 20, which they immediately convert into about a 25-yard pass to bring up 1st and 10 from their own 43. Show to throw, fires, caught for about a 5-yard gain. 2nd and 4 here from their own 49. They were the original leaders of this game, going up 3-0, but have not led since about the mid-second quarter. It is 7-3 Clemson, 3rd and 1 for Louisville at the Clemson 47.5. Jet sweep, yes it will be, and a nice move to get away from all the action and get a first down from that Louisville runner. It gets them a fresh set of downs at the Clemson 45. And yet another jet sweep, this one a fake. Oh, intercepted! Yet another defensive play from Clemson, and it could be run back. Down the right sideline, pick six, 55 yards from Kylon Griffin. Saluting the fans as he gives Clemson a multi-score lead. Look at the replay. Look at the read. Incredible awareness from Zach Jackson to get the score. Kylon Griffin out of Montgomery, Alabama, has given Clemson a 14-3 lead. And now Louisville will try to pick up the pieces and at least make this a close one. That's not what the crowd wants to see, but that's what I'm sure most of you watching at home want to see. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 19, and yet another first down pass. Another tackle for the player of the half, Avion Terrell. And now 1st and 10 from their own 34. And yet another completed pass for a first down. Louisville not going to waste any time. Tyler Show passed 200 yards, although he does have those 2 interceptions hampering him. And no touchdowns yet for this Louisville offense. Jet sweep, there's a flag down. We'll see if this one counts. If it does, it was about an 8-yard gain. And there's also a Louisville player injured. It is a holding penalty against the offense. So that will set Louisville back. Instead of having a 2nd and 8, they will have a 1st and 20 from their own 39. And here's Show trying to avoid the sack. He does not. Clemson with their 2nd of the day. 2nd down and 29 incoming for the Louisville Cardinals. And it is DeMonte Capehart again. Defense, as we expected, the name of the game. Both of these teams had top 25 defenses last season. And now on 2nd and 29, Donald Chaney breaks out a nice run, but it'll still be 3rd down and 18 for the Cardinals. Show will, of course, throw. 2 men get to him. 4th and 29 now. The 3rd sack and 2nd sack in 3 plays for the Clemson Tigers. And that one from the sophomore T.J. Parker, looking to be one of the rising stars of this Clemson program, to force a long 4th down and an obvious punting situation with a minute to go in the 3rd quarter. This one returned from the 25 to the 30. 1st down and 10. Clemson at their own 30. It'll be a quick throw out to the right on the RPO, gaining 3. And here's another run that will go nowhere. Maffa losing 1. He has just 15 yards on 10 carries so far today. And now Klubnik forced to throw on 3rd and 8, not even close. A 2-yard reception on the cross route. So another punt with less than 30 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. And we'll see where Louisville can get this out to. Received at the 20, brought to the 35. Jet sweep, going nowhere. Loss of 1. 2nd and 11. Another run. This one gains 3. And that'll bring us to the end of the third. Clemson with a 14-3 lead with 5 minutes to go. And look at the two wide receivers, Tyler Brown of Clemson and Colin Lacey of Louisville. Lacey has not been able to show his touchdown skills just yet. Hopefully for Louisville, he'll be able to soon. Incomplete on that pass from Tyler Shaw. And now they are pretty much forced to go for it. 4th and 8 from their own 36. Incomplete. Clemson takes over in Louisville territory with a chance for the kill shot. Here's Cade Klubnik. Intercepted. Louisville gets it right back. And maybe a run down to the Clemson 48. Cade Klubnik with a chance to kill Louisville. Instead throws an interception to the junior safety Benjamin Perry, which is, I believe, his 2nd of the day. So 1st and 10 now at the Clemson 48 for Louisville. Big catch there to get him to the 35. It'll be 1st and 10 again for the Cardinals. Yet another throw. This one caught. And DeMonte Capehart, who has 2 sacks today, is injured for Clemson. Bad news for the Tigers. One of their star defensive linemen out. And it looks like they're going to man blitz. 2nd and 2. A run. Outside left. And another injury. This one for another man who has a sack today. TJ Parker. So on 2 plays, 2 defensive stalwarts for the Tigers go out. 3rd and 2 for Louisville from the Clemson 26. Keeper for the quarterback. He's going to throw. Caught. Inbounds and no challenge. 1st and goal from the 9 for the Cardinals. Show to throw. Caught. Gain of about 4. 2nd and goal from the 6. About 4 minutes left in the 4th quarter. Louisville down 11. They're going to run. Touchdown, Cardinals. Out left. Donald Chaney with the first Louisville touchdown of the season and has pulled the Cardinals within a score. There he is, the junior halfback out of Homestead, Florida, down near Miami. Gets Louisville back into this one, and they're going to go for 2 to try and get within a field goal. Let's see what the play call is. This is a ballsy move. That does not work out. A complete pass, but not able to get into the end zone. And now the kick in the field of play returned to the Clemson 21. 4 minutes left. Run, run, run. And that is what this Clemson Tiger offense will be doing with their man on the ground, Phil Maffa. Senior out of Loganville, Georgia, powering forward. 3rd and 1 from their own 30. Maffa gets it again. He's tackled. 4th and 2. And now Clemson forced to rely on their defense, which, in all fairness, has been very well played today. That one fair caught at the Louisville 25. So now 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. 5 points down, and they will not get a completion there. A big hit laid right as the ball went in. So 2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Here's a throw from Show out left and out of bounds after a 4-yard gain. 3rd and 6 from the 29. Show again to throw, fires, incomplete. 4th and 6, they will punt. Flag on the play could be very beneficial to Louisville. Let's see what it is. Maybe roughing the kicker. I believe it is. Oh my goodness. Louisville gets a fresh set of downs at their own 44 after the roughing the punter penalty on Clemson. 3 minutes left and a second chance, and immediately a first down, now in Clemson territory at the Tiger 46. 2:52 to go. Show to throw. Caught. No first, but a gain of 7. Ja'Cory Brooks with his 7th reception, over 100 yards today. And now a run on 2nd and 3 to gain a first down. Big run for the Louisville Cardinals. From Maurice Turner, only a junior. 1st and 10 from the Clemson 33. Touchdown gives them the lead. That's not what they wanted. An interception, and it has a chance to be ran back all the way into Louisville territory, down at their 12. And now it will be a major opportunity to deliver a kill shot to the Louisville Cardinals from the Clemson Tigers. That has Death Valley prepared, and it also has this man, Kylan Griffin, ready. He has 1 pick 6 already today, nearly had another. His 2nd interception gets Clemson to the Louisville 12. Klubnik to throw, trying to deliver it on the first play. He will not. Incomplete pass to bring up 2nd and 10. 2 minutes 14. We'll see the 2-minute warning, and then Louisville will probably start using their timeouts unless Clemson scores before then. Could have been there, but now we reach the 2-minute warning. Now they should run it on every play with Phil Maffa. 3rd and 3, they will throw. It will be incomplete, and now Clemson will take a 3, which will give them an 8-point lead if made. Still reachable for Louisville, but they will need a 2-point conversion. It is good for the Tigers. It is an 8-point game. So the stakes are set for the Louisville Cardinals. They have all 3 timeouts and 1 minute 50 and some change to go. What will be about 86 yards and score to try and tie this game. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, and it begins with a 2-yard reception for their quarterback, Tyler Shaw. This one play action going deep. It's caught. Oh, a chance to tie all the way down at the 1-inch line. Minute 31. They have just gone the equivalent of 85 yards. That run will lose them 1, and now they're going to hurry things up in shotgun. 2nd and goal. From the 2 now. Audibling. Show. What will he do? He's going to throw. Can he find? He does! Touchdown, Cardinals. And now the reception to Brooks could set up a tying play. We'll see what the 2-point conversion has in store. They've already missed one today. Ja'Cory Brooks, the senior, on the touchdown reception. And Louisville has a chance. This very well could be the game, although there is still a minute 14 to go. And 5 total timeouts. No good. They say he didn't get 1 foot in. Had a man, too much momentum to the sideline. Onside kick goes deep into Clemson territory, not very deep, but into Clemson territory. It is recovered by the Tigers. That'll give them possession at the Louisville 47. They'll use 2 timeouts. Get ready to work, Phil Maffa. Gained about 3 on that one. Minute 7, Louisville with 1 timeout left. 2nd and 7. First down can end the game. It does not come there. Very nearly did, but Louisville made a big stop. And now they'll look to do it again. 3rd and 3 from the Cardinal 40. Clemson trying to put the visitors away. Klubnik throws, caught, first down. Out of bounds. Walter Parks, one of the O-linemen, is injured for Clemson in what has not been a very good game for them injury-wise. And now the Tigers will just have to kneel it. Game over. Death Valley rocking as their Tigers survive a 12-point Louisville fourth quarter. 14 would have sent this to overtime, but instead it is a 17-15 Clemson victory, and the man with 2 interceptions, including a pick 6, is the player of the game, sophomore safety Kylan Griffin. That was the first touchdown of the game for Clemson. That was the pick 6 from Griffin. 2 crucial plays that see the Tigers sing second and take a victory to open the season. Yet another classic. We are spoiled with 2 close and great games. This one, a defensive struggle. We could have predicted that with the fact that these 2 teams both had top 20 defenses last season, but it was the number 17 Clemson Tigers taking the number 20 Louisville Cardinals back to the shed in their opener, our first game of the week in college football this season. Another 2-point game, 17-15 the final score. Now, we did tell you that Clemson plays at Georgia Tech next week. That is their ACC opener. Louisville has their Big East opener, They're not in the Big Ten. It's the Big East. They play at Cincinnati, so 2 straight road games for the Cardinals to start the year. Cade Klubnik of Clemson, a underperforming day, 108 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 picks, compared to Tyler Show of Louisville, who had 358 yards, a singular touchdown as well, but he also had 3 interceptions to Klubnik's 2. But the player of the game, you saw him, and the man that should get a lot of the talking points, Clemson's Kylan Griffin, 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. That was what put the Tigers on top today. Some other games that have concluded in this 3:30 time slot. Arkansas hung on against Louisiana Tech 21-13, although Louisiana Tech's Jack Turner outperformed Arkansas's Taylon Green with 2 touchdowns and 266 yards. It was not enough to take down the Razorbacks, who have their Southwest Conference opener next week at the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And our final 3:30 game, another Group of 5 team or mid-major team taking down a power conference team. Middle Tennessee State taking down the Duke Blue Devils 26-21 the final score. Mid-10 State's Nicholas Vattiato with 298 yards and 3 touchdowns. Duke will hope to rebound after they go on a bye week, and they'll need it because they had the biggest injury of this week in college football with their starting right tackle Brian Parker II out for only 2 weeks with a broken thumb. Another big injury, Louisiana Tech halfback Marquise Crosby out 11 weeks, perhaps the entire season, with a fractured elbow. Big hit for the Louisiana Tech team. And now, up next, our nightcap featuring the number 11 offense in college football last year in the TCU Horned Frogs and their quarterback Josh Hoover against the number 13 defense in all of college football last year, the number 12 Utah Utes and their quarterback Cameron Rising. Enjoy the game. We'll be back here to round up the day of college football.
The following is a presentation of NBC Sports.
It's time to end a wonderful opening day of college football, and what better way to do that than on the West Coast? We've got a Southwest versus Big 8 conference matchup pitting a top offense against a top defense, both from last year. TCU taking on Utah. Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City is alive as the season begins again with the number 12 team in the country at home. Kicking off our third and final game of this Week 0 triple header to kick off the 2024 college football season. It will be TCU who starts with possession, and their wide receiver Savion Williams, the man to watch today from Marshall, Texas, the 6'5 senior. He and the Horned Frog offense, led by quarterback Josh Hoover, will start at their own 18. Hoover's going to throw, spinning to his left. He fires. It's caught. A big play on the first play of the day, a 26-yard gain, and they're going to hurry up immediately. Went from their own 18 to their own 44. It's 1st and 10. Now for TCU, both teams were audible. The runner goes in motion, and now we'll see what happens in the I formation. It'll be a play action. Hoover uncorks one. That one knocked down on the defensive front. Big deflection for the Utes, and now it'll be 2nd and 10 for TCU. This time they will run it, and they're going to gain 6 yards with Cam Cook. 3rd and 4 from midfield for TCU after a big play at the start of the game and a nice big run. Hoover's going to throw again. He does not have it. Receiver dropped it. That was also Cam Cook, and now TCU will be forced to punt early. It'll be a short one over to the sideline and out of bounds at the Utah 27, which will see them bring out their quarterback Cam Rising and tight end Brent Wheat. Just about a minute played, 1st and 10 for Utah. Keeper for Rising, and he is tackled after a 4-yard gain. Many linemen here. Rising will throw. It's caught. 1st down for the Utes. So it'll be 1st and 10 from their own 39 for Utah. This time they will run it with the back. That is Micah Bernard with the 2-yard gain for Utah. So 2nd and 8 from their own 40. With 3:30 to go in the first quarter, it will be Bernard again, and he's going to power forward for a 1st down. That run coming from Jalen Glover, the junior out of Lakeland, Florida. 1st and 10 from the 49, Rising with a quick screen over to the right. It'll be caught and a 9-yard gain for the Utes. Luca Caldarella on that reception, and now 2nd and 2 from the TCU 42. Another quick pass caught by Caldarella. 2 straight catches for 16 yards total. And now 1st and 10 from the TCU 35 with the tight end in motion. It'll be another handoff and another left side run for Glover. He gains 7 on that one, and it'll be 2nd down and 3. More motions for Utah. They use a lot of those. Rising keeps it on the option. He won't get the first. He'll just get a single yard, and that'll bring up 3rd and 2. At the Horned Frog 27, they're going to run it again, and he is stopped. Glover could not get the first down, and now they're going to go for 3 with about a 40-yard attempt. Good. So 3-0. Utah leading after that early drive, and we'll see how TCU can respond. On the kick, returned from the edge of the end zone and brought out to the 14. So another deep in their own territory start for TCU here, and their quarterback Josh Hoover, who will throw on first down. Nice check down, and the run after the catch will gain them 8. Second down and 2 from their own 22. Fake jet, it'll go to the other back on the triple option to actually lose a yard. Bad play call there. The run from Trent Battle, and now Hoover will throw. It's caught behind the line of scrimmage and only a gain of a yard. Yet another 3 and out for the TCU Horned Frogs. This one returned for Utah from their own 25 and brought out to their own 39, so they'll have yet another good start with good field position. Already up 3-0, looking to go up a bit more before the end of this half. A minute left in the first quarter, 5 to go still in the second. It'll start with a run and a nice 5-6 yard gain for the Utes from Jalen Glover. Second down and 4 now from their own 45. More motions. Expect a lot of those. Expect a lot more runs. They have 2 power backs. That one, Micah Bernard, gets him to the TCU 42 and a fresh set of downs. Bernard again on the handoff. He's powering forward. Found a hole. Got through. 1st and 10 now at the TCU 29. Now Rising will throw a quick pass over the middle, caught for a gain of 4. Dorian Singer on the reception, and now it'll be 2nd and 6. Rising gonna run it. Bernard again, another first down from Micah Bernard, and it's 1st and 10 for Utah from the TCU 16. And that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. Utah threatening to put up another 6. They're already up 3-0 at the end of the first quarter. And look at the rushing yard disparity. 63 rushing yards for Utah, 5 for TCU. 1st and 10 at the Horned Frog 16 for the Utes. They're looking to go up 2 scores. They have a great chance to do so with 2 backs. They'll throw to one on the left. Bernard looking for the end zone. He gets a first. It'll be 1st and goal from the 3. Micah Bernard on this drive, and in this game has 49 yards through 5 rushes. And now Bernard again gets in. 1st touchdown for Utah today, and the 1st touchdown of the season for the Utes comes from Micah Bernard. Senior running back, 6 foot, about 200 pounds, out of Long Beach, California. And that'll be the highlight of a drive that saw many, many rushes for the Utes. They're looking to go up 10-0 off this PAT, and now TCU will try and respond, but it seems to be very tough. 7 plays, 60 yards, in just a minute 34 of game time. TCU 0. Returned out of the end zone for TCU. Yet another one stopped at their own 15. So they still have a long way to go to try and at least get within one score of the Utes. They'll start with a run. That goes nowhere. Just a single yard from Cam Cook on the ground. 2nd and 9 at their own 16. Hoover to throw. Fires. Almost intercepted, but it is caught. And now they're going to hurry things up. 1st and 10 at their own 32. That was a tough pass. Could have been intercepted very easily. There were 2, maybe even 3 Utah defenders there. Now Hoover's going to throw again. Dropping back. He is dropped. Van Fillinger with the sack, the first of the day. And that will now put TCU at a 2nd down and 21 situation. The senior left end punishing the poor offensive line play of the TCU Horned Frogs. 4 minutes left in the 2nd quarter. The Utes, number 12 in the country, playing an unranked TCU team with one of the better defenses last season. But so far they have been stifled 10-0. Hoover on 3rd and 21. Rockets one. It's caught. It'll be a 1st down. J.P. Richardson on the reception, and he's over 50 yards on just 3 catches so far today. 1st and 10 now near midfield for the Horned Frogs at their own 47. They are going to run. They're going to lose a yard on that rush. And now we'll see what they can do on 2nd and 11. They're going to run it yet again, and they're going to lose another yard. 2 straight 1-yard losses for the TCU Horned Frogs, and now it all comes down to 3rd and 12. Hoover going to throw. Fires. Caught. Did he get the first? No. He's a yard short. And they're going to punt at the Utah 44 on 4th and 1. Down 10 with 3 minutes to go. It'll be a high one. Fair caught at the Utah 18. Rising throws. It'll be caught for a gain of 5. 2nd down and 5 coming up for the Utes. Well, the 2 highlights in this game were to be the quarterbacks, but for Utah, so far it's been that man, Micah Bernard, and some very good play from their quarterback. TCU's quarterback, Josh Hoover, not living up to expectations, it seems, but the defense has just got a nice stop, 3 and out for the Utes. That'll give TCU another chance, and it should give them good field position. That one very high, and fair caught at the TCU 40 as we reach the 2-minute warning. There's the snap. Hoover to throw. Fires over the middle and incomplete. Here we go, 2nd and 10, possibly TCU's last chance to get on the board before halftime. There's a big catch for the Frogs. It'll give them a 1st down. Savion Williams, one of the impact players for these Horned Frogs. He may have another one. Touchdown, TCU. Hoover to J.P. Richardson. And just like that, the Frogs are within 3 if they make the extra point. Look at that. Nearly a 50-yard reception. And here's the PAT to make it a 3-point game. Good. A 3-play, 60-yard, and 19-second drive for TCU, and now they're going to look for another quick stop. They still have 3 timeouts, so they could try and tie it before the end of the first half. They're going to pin Utah back at their own 18. So what will Cam Rising and this Ute offense do? They're going to throw on first down. Intercepted! TCU gets it back, and they'll have it at the Utah 22. Oh my goodness. So now, what was a 10-0 lead can certainly be a 14-10 deficit. It was Jatravis Broughton, the senior corner, on the interception, first thrown today, and the first of the season for Cam Rising. So here we are, 1st and 10. Hoover throwing quickly, incomplete, could not hang on to the ball. 2nd down and 10 at the Utah 22, starting in their red zone after the big pick. Hoover in trouble, got it out in time. 3rd and 10, but did get hit after. He looks to be okay. No backs except for Hoover and 5 receivers. He's going to throw, of course, and he's dropped. It'll be a big sack that brings the TCU offense back to the 29. They will still take a field goal, another about 40-yarder. But it is good, and now it is tied at 10 going into the half. So, again, what was a 10-point lead is now gone within about a minute and a half. And Utah will have to go back into the locker room, hopefully with some momentum from this drive after the interception from Rising. We'll see where the kick is returned to. It's returned from their own 5 and back out to their own 19. Rising, looking to make up for an interception, has a minute 18 to do so. That one caught quickly and easily for Cam Rising, and they're going to hurry things up. 1st and 10 from their own 32 now with just over a minute. Rising to throw again, fires, quickly caught. Same man, 2nd down and 3. And now on 2nd and 3 from their own 39. Rising to throw again, incomplete over the middle. Third down and 3, and here is Rising to throw. Caught. 1st down. Timeout Utah, leaving them with just 1. 45 seconds to go. 1st and 10 from the TCU 45. Going deep. Broken up. 2nd and 10. 41 seconds left. Rising will throw again. Quick one. Caught. Another 1st down for Utah. Hurrying things up. They're going to keep that final timeout. They still have 30 seconds. 32 yards away from the end zone. Rising. Throwing. Caught. 1st down from the 15. And now they'll use their last timeout. 1st and 10. Eyeing the end zone at the TCU 15. Rising to throw. Caught in. Touchdown, Utah. They take back the lead. Grant Queeth, that tight end that we were looking for earlier today, has made his presence known and has given his Utes a lead going into halftime. Senior tight end, a leader, played Texas high school football and is now showing his talents on the biggest stage.
The kicker is on for the extra point.
PAT to make it a 7-point game is good. A very quick 8-play drive, less than a minute. It'll leave 20 seconds on the clock for the TCU Horned Frogs and Josh Hoover. They'll start from their own 25 after the touchback. Here we go. 85 yards from the end zone. Trying to get within field goal range and trying to get some momentum behind them heading into the second half. They will not start with possession. It will be Utah who gets it at the beginning of the next half. But a big run there from the Horned Frogs. That's not going to get them a first down. It'll be 3rd down and inches from the 35, and a literal inch. Hoover to throw. It is caught. It'll be a first down. They still have 3 timeouts, decide not to use them, and that will bring us to halftime. Very interesting play call from TCU there. 17-10 Utah at the half, and the player of the half, of course, Micah Bernard. 58 yards, 7 average, has just 8 attempts, and of course has a touchdown, the senior making himself known in his first game of the season. Some pretty big plays from the first half. That was the touchdown that got TCU on the board. That was the touchdown that gave Utah a 10-point lead early on, but now it is just 7 with a chance to make it more on this possession, which will start from their own 17. 1st and 10 for Utah. With 10 minutes left, it is 17-10, and Rising's going to throw. Looking, firing to his right, thrown away. 2nd down and 10. Stop here from TCU is crucial if they want to stay in this game. Rising on the play action. Fires, knocked down. A big knock for TCU. That was great. Rising to throw on 3rd and 10. Fires a check down. Can he get? Almost got there. He leaned forward, but was he down before? They say he got the first down. Beautiful effort to keep the drive alive from Micah Bernard. And he'll get it again. Only a loss of 1 that time. On the draw play. 2nd and 11 now. Utah at their own 26. Bernard again, outside rush, only gains 3. So now 3rd and 8, and another 3rd and long for the Utes. Rising to throw, in trouble quickly, and throws it away, which will bring up the punting team for Utah, and will give TCU a crucial possession to try and get back in this game. They'll have it start at their own 45. 1st and 10. Hoover will hand it off. It'll be another run for the Frogs that gains him 2. Second and 8. They'll run it again. Down for a loss of 1. 3rd and 9 from their own 47. Down 7. They need a big play here to keep their hopes alive. 3 minutes and a half left in the 3rd quarter. They're going to audible. Hoover trying to get the message out. It may not have. The stadium's rocking. Hoover! Oh, he caught it! Touchdown, TCU! Savion Williams. A 53-yard touchdown reception for the senior. Beating his man, beating the TCU, beating the Utah defense, and now TCU will tie it up. Quick drives have been the name of this game. We still have about 3.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter, and we're tied at 17. This one will be downed in the end zone. Utah will start at their own 25, trying to get their lead back. Jet sweep, Rising, room, 1st down and 5 more. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 40. Dorian Singer on the run, rising with motion. Hands it off on the triple option. Oh, big run! All the way into TCU territory from Micah Bernard. 1st and 10 from the Frog 31. Rising to Bernard again, another run. Outright, that's where he likes to go. Did not get the first. Forced out of bounds an inch before the marker. And it'll be another Bernard first down. Another Utah first down, and quickly at the TCU 15. Rising's going to throw, look to do it quickly, got it out to his left. Another nice run after the reception to gain 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 7. Brant Queeth, the tight end, again. 2nd and 2. Rising hands it off. Bernard does not get the first down. 3rd and 1. Rising to throw, knocked down. He had a man in the end zone, but now they'll just take 3 from about 17, 20 yards out. Good. 3-point Utah lead. This has been an incredible game. And now with 1:50 to go, TCU is going to have another possession. That's 1:40 to go in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 for the Frogs from their own 21. Run. Out left with Cook. He gains 3. 2nd down and 7. 1:30 left in the quarter. Keeper on the option. Hoover goes nowhere. Loss of 1. 3rd and 8 from their own 23. Big one needed here again for TCU. Gonna throw. Hoover fires deep. Wide open. Another run. Another TCU touchdown. And this time they have the lead. Eric McAllister, junior wideout, making his name known. Another secondary mismanagement for Utah. He was left wide open. Nowhere else to go.
The kicker is on for the extra point.
Kick good.
The extra point.
4-point TCU lead on the road against the number 12 team in the country.
24, Utah 20.
And it'll be a touchback, so Cam Rising and this Utah offense will get things back at their own 25. Another run for Utah goes to Micah Bernard, and he only gains 2 on that one. Bernard again on 2nd and 8. Only a single yard on that rush. 3rd down and 7. And get ready for Cam Rising. Gonna throw. Here he goes. Fires. Caught. 1st down and more. Shedding the tackler for Utah is Dorian Singer. And gaining them a 1st down at their own 43. Rising, caught out right, gain of 1. Second and 9, they're going to run. Oh, big move inside. Nice cut for Micah Bernard again, and we do have an injury on TCU. One of their defensive linemen, perhaps. And now 3rd down and 2. Inside Horned Frog territory. They're going to run with Bernard. He gets through. He gets a run all the way to the TCU 18. And that'll end an exciting 3rd quarter. We still have 5 minutes to go in this one. 24-20 TCU with their first lead of the game, but they may not have it for long. First and 10 now at the TCU 18, another run. That one came from Jalen Glover instead of Micah Bernard. It gained 4, and now it's 2nd and 6. Keeper, but it does not go anywhere. Rising, stunned in his face for a loss of 4, 3rd and 10. And they'll run it again with Bernard. This time he goes nowhere. A single yard gained on that one, and now the field goal unit will try to make it a 1-point game. Good, but TCU still leads, and now they'll get possession. And we will see what the TCU offense can do to try and preserve their lead. They could make it a 2-score game if they get 6 and a 2-point conversion. But they'll probably just take an extra point and make it an 8-point game if that's the case. 1st and 10 for TCU from their own 25. This is the time for Josh Hoover. It's intercepted and a chance to be run back. Pick 6 for Utah. Pick 6 for Keenan Johnson. The Utes are back in front. That is exactly what they did not want Josh Hoover to do, and he did it on the first play of the drive. Look at that. Pinpoint precision for the pick 6. And now they're going to go for 2, which would make this a 7-point game. It's 5 now. It will be 5 if they miss it. They're going to run. Bernard is in. Here's the kick back to TCU. Hopefully a better drive today on this one. 1st and 10 from their own 25 again. 4 minutes left in the game. Now down 7. And Cook will gain a single yard, and he's injured. Cam Cook, the starting running back for the Horned Frogs, down, and he'll be out of the game after gaining a single yard on that play. Big throw outright. It is caught. Another big throw from Josh Hoover. And that one to J.P. Richardson. 1st and 10 from their own 43. Big audible here. All the formations changing. Here's Hoover. Play action. Thought he was going to run it. Ooh, that could have been intercepted. Now 2nd and 10 from their own 43. Hoover to throw again. This one quicker. It's caught. It'll be a gain of 6 off the reception from Savion Williams. And now on 3rd and 4, they'll hurry things up. Here's the throw. Hoover, incomplete. And now 4th and 4 will result in a punt. High one. It'll be fair caught at the 25. And now it'll be on the TCU defense to get the ball back and give their offense a chance to draw even. Another run for Bernard. He has room and has another first down, over 150 yards on 20 carries today. And I think a delay of game on Utah here. That'll push them back to 1st and 15 at their own 35. Rising quick throw and a loss of 1. And the clock will run down to a 2-minute warning. 2nd and 16 for Cam Rising. They will run it with Micah Bernard, and he goes nowhere. Timeout number 1 from TCU. But it is 3rd and 16 for Utah, and a stop here from TCU could give them good field position, but let's see what happens. They're just going to run it with Bernard, try and get that clock down. Timeout number 2 for TCU, and now they'll get it back.
Timeout, TCU.
Here is the punt. It'll be from their own 25 and received by TCU, fair caught at their own 28. Down 7, it's time for Josh Hoover to make his name known around campus in Fort Worth. He won't do it with that kind of throw. Knockdown could have been easily intercepted. 2nd and 10 from their own 28. Hoover in trouble, turns and throws it away. So now 3rd and 10, a crucial 3rd down to keep their hopes alive of a win today. Hoover throws over the middle, incomplete, overthrown by at least 5 yards, and now the game comes down to this. 4th and 10, Hoover to throw, looking, fires, intercepted. Utah will take a home win in their opener. Tried to get it to his man, it was underthrown. And although a good performance from Josh Hoover, that will overshadow all of the accomplishments from the TCU offense today. A big interception for the Utes. It came from Keenan Johnson, another senior corner, and his 2nd interception today. They might not be kneeling. They may need a first down before they do so. Gonna run, of course, Bernard, and TCU will take their final timeout.
Timeout, TCU.
Still not kneeling. It'll be 2nd down and 7. I guess they're going to try and get the first down. Bernard, not there. 3rd and 3. Could be interesting. Oh, now they're going to kneel. Waited until 3rd down for it. Very interesting, but the result is the same no matter what happens. Oh, they're going to punt. Oh, my goodness. So TCU may have a chance on the run back here. No. Oh, they... My goodness, what is going on? That is a long field goal, and that kicker should be proud that he made it. Not that it matters to the result of the game, but a game-ending field goal for the Utah Utes that will give them a 10-point win over TCU. Very interesting. I'm surprised that they just didn't do it on first down. They had the win secured anyway. But nevertheless, the 12th-ranked Utah Utes hold on after a nice game, a nice close game, some effort from the TCU Horned Frogs. Be on the lookout for them, but be on the lookout for this man, senior running back Micah Bernard, 176 yards and a touchdown on 24 carries today. It was an exciting game full of big plays and flair. We thank you for joining us on this Week 0 episode of college football. We will see you next Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy whatever comes up. We've had 3 incredible games today, and I've been happy to bring you all of them here on our first episode of SportsCenter, bringing you 3 incredible college football games. This one featuring number 12 Utah hanging on by 10 points against TCU. The Utes' Cam Rising only throwing for 162 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 pick. TCU's Josh Hoover threw for 310 yards and 3 touchdowns, but had an extra pick along with that. The Horned Frogs will have a bye next week, while Utah will go away to Kansas State University in their Big 8 season opener. And to wrap things up, the final scores from a packed Week 0 of college football. These 2 independents battled. Northwestern took down UConn easily, 37-17. Their quarterback Mike Wright threw for 257 yards and 4 touchdowns. They take on Miami of Ohio next week in their home opener. Virginia took down Coastal Carolina at the Smurf Turf. The Teal Field, I should say. Smurf Turf's up in Boise, Idaho. 28-14, the final score here. Anthony Calandra throwing for 207 yards, rushing for 14, 2 total touchdowns, 1 through the air and 1 on the ground. Coastal Carolina's Noah Kim had a better performance over the air, 243 yards and a single touchdown as well, but an interception did hold him back. Virginia takes on FSU in their home and ACC opener next week. Our second and final overtime game of Week 0 featured SMU of the Southwest Conference and Nevada of the Mountain West Conference, and yet another overtime group of 3 mid-major over power conference upset. 48-42 in favor of Nevada, who was at home. Their quarterback Ron Kramer threw for 414 yards and 5 touchdowns, all of which were caught by their star receiver, Cortez Bram Jr., who had 251 yards and those 5 touchdowns over just 10 receptions. Don't sleep on SMU quarterback Preston Stone, though. He had 366 yards, 5 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. 2 overtime games and a bunch of close ones. This was really a college football weekend. 2 more games to take note of. Number 16 Arizona taking down unranked Houston 45-28. Noah Fifita throwing for 297 yards, 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. They'll go up to Wazoo next week, the Arizona team. And our final game of this week, Washington dispatching MAC opponent Eastern Michigan 31-14. Their quarterback Will Rogers, 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. Washington goes to Oregon State next week. And we'll end by taking a look at the Week 0 Players of the Week. The defensive one out of Clemson, DeMonte Capehart, with 5 tackles and 2 sacks, while Cortez Bram Jr. mans the offense. The Nevada wide receiver, 251 reception yards, 5 receiving touchdowns on 10 receptions. He did have a fumble in there as well on one of his rushes. So thank you for watching this first episode of SportsCenter. I know it was a little late trying to keep these in conjunction with the actual sports season. Next week, we'll of course have the scores from Week 1 of the college football season. It'll be incredible to watch. We're going to keep tracking injuries, and when new recruits verbally commit, we'll tell you about that. And we do have the NFL coming up, so we'll do our best to preview that season next Saturday, and we'll have a few episodes before then, possibly. Once we get to the NFL season, we'll have a lot more during the week. That's all the plan. It may or may not happen for real. We'll just see what life has. Hopefully life's doing good for you. I'm Matthew Merlino. We'll see you next weekend.